FB family. Here we are, another Wednesday, another Get Me Through Wednesday, another time to get together and kind of check in with each other, make sure that we all doing well, that we are still in the land of the living. My brother, Demont Goolsby, man, thank you for joining me, bro. Mr. Terrell Luther, good to see you, man. My Verb Eagle brother. Um, Thank you for joining this morning, you guys. We'll get started with our Get Me Through Wednesday today. Before we get started, be sure that you go check out our new video. So the Chosen Generation, we've done a new video. It's up on my page. I think it's on the church's page. So go check it out. Just hear some stories and whatnot from the folks, some of the folks who are part of our church family, and go share that with your folks, just to let folks know what we're doing over in the city of Long Beach. Sister Martha, thank you for joining us. So yeah, check that out. Also, as we do, every week that we have these, if you are looking for a church home, come visit Chosen Generation Fellowship Church. Our services are at 12 p.m. every Sunday except for Fifth Sunday. Fifth Sunday, we go out and we try to do something fun and engaging. We're located at 5601 Orange Avenue over in the city of Long Beach. So come fellowship with us. Check out our website page. Let us know that you're coming to visit. Our website is choseng129.org. So come by and fellowship. Come by, let us know that you're coming so that we can be expecting you. And just come celebrate the Lord with us. So we're gonna get started. Let us, hey Martha, we're going to talk about something today that I think we all deal with, whether you live in LA or whether you live in another metropolitan city. But we're gonna talk about LA today just because that's where I happen to live and dwell. We're gonna talk about traffic today. One of the things when you live in Los Angeles is that you got to deal with traffic. You got to deal with the hustle and bustle. It used to be back in the day when I was younger that traffic was something that you could almost kind of time it. You had morning rush hour traffic, then it would die down, and then around 2:30, 3 o'clock, it would pick back up again. But here of late, traffic is just traffic. You got traffic all day, every day in LA. You got traffic on Monday. You got traffic on Sunday. You got traffic on Thursday. You got traffic on Saturday, Wednesday. It's just traffic. And the question that I always ask is, where are all these people going? And why are they out? Why is it traffic at 11 o'clock? Shouldn't people already be at work? And so, traffic is something that will either something that will force you to stay at home and not go anywhere, or you get out in it. And if you like me, you just fuss all the way through it. Some people are very calm in traffic. Some people just know this is what it is. They allot a X amount of time to get to their destination. And they just go on with their day. One of the things that I've noticed when you deal with traffic, traffic is somewhat like life is. And I wrote a blog the other day about pressure, because Damon Leonard, who plays for the Portland Trail Blazers, he was asked a question about pressure, and he started talking about pressure and how playing that game is not pressure in comparison to somebody who's needing to provide for their family, a single mother who's struggling. That's true. That's pressure. And so when you deal with traffic, traffic is something that I've noticed is like life, because a lot of times in traffic, we forget that we're part of it. So we forget that we're complaining about everybody else being in traffic, but at the end of the day, we're part of that traffic too. And so traffic can sometimes be like life. We're trying to get someplace. We're trying to hustle and bustle to get to our destination. We're trying to hustle and bustle to get to where we need to be. And we're part of the traffic. So that means that we're part of somebody else. Somebody else is affected by us being on the roadway too. And so when you look at life, life is always about trying to get somewhere. I don't care how old you are. I don't care whether you are on the west side of town versus the east side of town, the south side of town versus the north side of town. You always have to deal with traffic, and that's how life is. Life is about being in traffic and figuring out where you have to go. But the problem is that two things happen. We either get distracted or we start to drift. So in this process of traveling along this journey called life, we get distracted. We start focusing on somebody else. And it's just like it is when we drive. If somebody makes a crazy move to where they start getting too close to the line, we want to blow the horn. Or if somebody is driving too slow, we want to get upset and we want to blow the horn. We get distracted with the other drivers that are around us on this thing called life. And sometimes that distraction can cause you to have, at times, an accident. How many accidents have we had in our lives? I'll wait. And I'm not talking about accidents in a car. I'm talking about those moments that you had an accident in your life to where you had to make a pit stop. There have been some accidents in our lives. And if we spent time, we could be on this thing for the next 20 minutes talking about the accidents that we've had in our lives, all because we got distracted. The reason we didn't finish college, we got distracted. The reason that relationship ended the way that it did is because we got distracted. The reason why you haven't started your business is because you got distracted. The reason why you have not completed what you need to complete is because you got distracted. Distractions are part of traffic, but you got to still learn how to drive and not get focused on the distraction in the traffic. This is going to help somebody. But we also start to drift. If you've ever been behind the wheel of a car and sometimes you just zone out, you know, that's what I call it. We zone out behind the wheel. And if you zone out, you can cause harm to yourself and to other people because we're starting to drift. How many times do you sit at your desk at work and drift? How many times do you sit in front of the TV and drift? How many times do you lived your life and you're just drifting? Drifting is the same as existing. Some of us are just existing in life, but we get upset when other people are achieving in life because they're focused. They're not drifting, they're focused. And so in traffic, we get distracted because other people are moving faster. If you've ever been in a car and you've been in one lane and the other lane starts moving faster than the lane that you're in, you'll get out of that lane and get into the lane that's moving. And soon you'll find out that lane stops too. Why? Because everybody else is doing the same thing. You need to learn how to stay in your lane. There are some things that God has given you. There are some things that God has given you that you do not need to get distracted, and you don't need to start drifting, trying to figure out how you can do what someone else is doing. If someone else is progressing in their lane, that's the lane that they need to be in, but that doesn't mean that that's the lane that you need to then jump into, because that's not the same thing. God has given you something to where you need to ride in your lane. You need to find out what your lane is and stay in it, because at the end of the day, even though you are caught up in the traffic, you're going to get to your destination eventually. But sometimes we want to hop out of this lane, hop into that lane, and pretty soon you look up and you spend all your time hopping out of one lane into the next, and you haven't gone anywhere. You also got to realize that sometimes the traffic is your destination. Sometimes God wants to get you caught in traffic so that you can slow yourself down and so you can focus. So my message today, don't get discouraged with the traffic. At the same time, don't get distracted and don't drift while you're in it. You're going to get to your destination. You're going to start that business. You're going to write that book. You're going to write that script. You're going to get that new job. You're going to achieve some of those hopes and dreams that you have, but you got to be okay with sometimes there's other people that's on the road trying to do the same thing. And that doesn't mean that you got to be in their lane. I know some people that are very gifted. I'm not gifted in that vein. But once your lane opens, got free and clear running to drive your lane. But I need somebody to hear me today. Don't get discouraged if your lane is bogged down with other cars. Don't get bogged down and don't get discouraged if your life is bogged down with other things that are there that are preventing you from moving forward. Eventually, as this song, my mom used to listen to this song back in the day, and it's going to tell you how old I really am, by Bobby Blue Bland. It said, as soon as the weather breaks. And the purpose of the song was, as soon as the weather breaks, he was going to be able to get back to his love. Sometimes you got to realize traffic is something that we got to deal with. And as soon as the traffic breaks, as soon as things start thinning out, then you will find that there's a flow to the traffic. And eventually you can start moving in and out of lanes and cruising at a level to where, and eventually you're going to get to where you got to go. But don't get distracted and don't drift while you're in the traffic. That's a word for somebody. Because somebody is caught in traffic, and that traffic is called life. Along this journey, you're going to get caught up in some traffic. Everything is not going to be smooth sailing. There's going to be times where you're going to get bogged down, but that does not mean that you get out of your lane. You stay in your lane and you ride your lane until you are free and clear to put your foot on the pedal and press it, and then that's when you are able to take off. And if this word don't bless anybody else, it bless me. Because we get frustrated in traffic. We get irritated in traffic. We start speaking in other tongues in traffic. We start giving people certain symbols that are not gang signs in traffic because we get so irritated because we cannot move at the pace that we want to move. But at the end of the day, are you still going? Don't worry about the pace. Are you still moving forward? Because eventually, if you continue to move forward, you're going to get to where you want to be. And sometimes traffic is a good thing because sometimes I've been in traffic that has prevented me from having an accident. So sometimes life, it seems like you in this traffic, but at the end of the day, sometimes what you bog down with is preventing you from experiencing something that could be detrimental to you. I was reading this article the other day about folks, millionaires who got themselves started and how many times they failed. And most of what I picked out of it was that most of the folks, until they were, some people they were too old to even be relevant. They were in their 50s. They was in their 60s. I forget, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Colonel. He really hit it big. I think when he was in his 60s. I forget. Don't get bogged down in the traffic. Realize that maybe you're in the traffic so it prevents you from experiencing something that's detrimental. And while you're in it, don't get distracted and don't drift, but keep riding in your lane, and eventually you'll get to your destination. That's it. That's all that I got today. Go to my Facebook page, see the new video that's up that we sharing about Chosen Generation. If you're in the LA area, come visit us on Sundays at 12 o'clock over in the city of Long Beach. We will welcome you in. We will love on you because Chosen G is a family that is training leaders to transform their communities. This has been another Get Me Through Wednesday. Share this out. Click your likes, click your loves. Share this with somebody because somebody needs to hear this. Thank you all for joining me. Catrice, Raquel, Pete, Jeffrey, Phoenicia, and the rest of you guys. Keisha, I see you. Michael, I see you. Thank you guys for joining. Peace out. I'll see y'all next Wednesday.